It is 11:51 p.m. on September 15th. I have just finished all of the classwork that I have had to do for the business computing class, and there is a party going on next door over there. But if I do not make this video now, it will be 3 months before I make another one. So I kind of want to keep the consistency going and get at least one out a week. So here we are at nearly midnight, recording about AI. Greetings, Internet travelers. My name is Joshua Desiderio from Desiderio Entertainment, and I've got a little bit of a weird question for you. What do you think about robots? You like them? You hate them? You think they're gonna steal your jobs? That was a big thing back a couple years ago. A lot of people in the news and the media were making all of these stories about how artificial intelligence and robots is gonna take minimum wage jobs, and they're gonna force workers out of the workforce, and it's just gonna be this huge thing, and no one's gonna be able to work anywhere ever. And that's not really how it turned out at all, really. I mean, there are restaurants and supermarkets that employ robots to cook things or help people find stuff in aisles, respectively. But on the whole, employment for humans has stayed pretty much the same. We've still got underpaid workers working terrible jobs, and it's not going to change anytime soon, at least not according to the way things are going. But during that time of, I guess you would call it controversy, there was this one group of people that was watching it all from afar, and that was the art community, the writers, the filmmakers, the painters. All of them were looking at this and thinking, it's real good that I'm a creative, and I won't have to worry about my job being taken from me by some robot. Well, according to some very recent developments in technology, that might not actually be the case. So come join me, why don't you? Follow me down on my escapade into this rabbit hole of whether or not artificial intelligence is going to be the death of the human artist. But before we get going, let me just don my spectacles here that make me look a lot smarter and knowledgeable than I really am. Oh, actually, those don't really work with the screen on, do they? And the ring light. Oh. Well, anyway. So, I know that this topic has sort of been circulating YouTube a little bit, and that's part of the reason why I've decided to make a video on it. But in case you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about with artificial intelligence entering the art world, let me break it down for you a little bit. So over the past year and a half maybe, there has been a surge in AI intelligence programs designed to make art based off of human input. And by that I mean you would take your keyboard, you would type out a prompt for the AI to follow, and it would generate an image based on your prompt. So for instance, if you type in the word apple, the artificial intelligence would generate a picture of an apple. But of course you can get much more specific than that, and we're going to see that in action later on in the video, because I'm actually going to show you one of these programs that I have downloaded, and it's honestly really cool, some of the stuff you can make. But we'll get there. So programs such as DALL-E Mini, Dream by Wombo, and Night Cafe have all set out to create original art from simple text descriptions from random individuals. And this has turned out varying degrees of success, from pretty good to, dear Lord, please get it away from me. I would rather die than see that again. As you can see, in the beginning, the images generated by these types of software were really, really bad, especially in the face department. We have a lot of evidence right now that AI does not know how to do faces too good. In fact, there were and probably still are memes and posts on social media poking fun of how hilariously or terrifyingly bad some of these images can be. At that time, many people, including myself, didn't think too much of the programs. I mean, really they just seem like another fad or experiment that was way too far ahead of its time in order to produce any worthwhile results. And then there was Midjourney. So Midjourney AI is a project hosted primarily on the social platform Discord. It shows far more quality and versatility in its images than I have ever seen in any of the other programs that I mentioned. For example, I am going to show you 2 images. Now, one of these images was generated in DALL-E Mini, one of the other programs that I mentioned a little bit ago. The other image is going to be produced in Midjourney. And you tell me which one has the higher quality image. Both of these images are going to be generated from the same prompt, and the prompt is a man in a hazmat suit standing in a ruined city surrounded by vegetation. Some sort of apocalyptic feel, because that's what I'm into right now. Okay, now, here is the image that was generated by DALL-E Mini. It's pretty good. There's a ruined city, there's vegetation, there is in fact a man in a hazmat suit, but it feels very thrown together. It feels like a bad Photoshop job. Someone just took a picture of Chernobyl and copy-pasted some stock image of a dude in a suit over it. But either way, it did technically give me what I wanted. However, here is Midjourney's version of the prompt, and as you can already see, this is clearly a superior piece. It looks like an actual painting. It looks like somebody actually sat down and made this with a brush or something. There is a quality and consistency in style that Midjourney has that DALL-E just does not. But it goes even further than that. And again, I have to reiterate because I find it so cool. Both of these images were generated by typing a single line of text. That's unheard of by the standards of 5 or 10 years ago. Back then, we didn't even think this was possible. We were just discovering the internet 10 years ago. Like back then, this would have just been some Star Trek nonsense, and here people are just using it whenever and however they want, mostly to make cute anime girls, because this is in fact Discord, and that's what 90% of the population of Discord likes to do. I'm just kidding. There are actually some really cool pieces of art on the Midjourney server. Just go and look at it yourself. There is a link in the description. Thank you. Also, Midjourney is a lot more user-friendly and it allows for a lot more experimentation as far as the stuff you make is concerned. Again, using our little man in the hazmat suit as an example, here is the batch that it gave me when I typed in the prompt. And when you see that, you can just take that, you can pick one you like, and you can either generate different versions of it, so same kind of layout and general feel, but just different variations of that same thing, or you can upscale it so it's a lot more detailed, but it's just one image. And that's what I did for the final product that I showed you. Now, sure, again, other programs allow you to do this, but Midjourney is the best one I've seen so far. Admittedly, I haven't had the chance to scour the internet for every single platform that there is for this stuff, because I just sort of landed on this, and this one seemed pretty great. But like, do your own research, see what you can find. And that's not even the best it can do. There are some people on this server that have learned how to accurately describe everything they want to the computer. They generate hundreds of images and they pick out the very, very best ones in the style that they have described, and it is fantastic. Please go look at it. But on that note, Midjourney is not without its flaws. So let's take a quick look at the cons of AI art and Midjourney as we see them currently. First and foremost is that the AI, or the software itself, will not take all of your prompt into consideration. At least, it'll rarely take all of your prompt into consideration. And when it does, sometimes it does so pretty chaotically, as with some of the results that I'm showing you right here. This is not what I asked for. The prompt beneath is what I asked for. This is not them. Also, it's important to note that while the system can create a... what's the word? Can create a congruent? Consistent while the program can create a consistent style, when you upscale it, when you try to make the image, higher definition with better details, a lot of the smaller details tend to get lost in translation a bit. They just sort of break off into nothingness, or particles, or little cracks in the sky. It doesn't really make sense. Sometimes it adds to the atmosphere and it looks a little cool, but most of the time it's just like, why is that plant suddenly disappearing into nothingness? Why is it detached from the stem? Just like little details are not this thing's forte. But anyway, enough of me talking about the thing. Let me just take a moment and show you how it actually works, and you can watch it in real time. So here we are on Discord, and I am right now looking at the Midjourney bot, which is the little guy you talk to who makes all the things happen. So now, in order to kick off the process, I'm going to type in the command /imagine, and that just that starts it all, right? You've got it loaded now, waiting for your prompt, you type your description, it'll run with it. Okay, so let's try something very, very simple. You can see already that I've been doing a bunch of stuff up there. So let's see, let's type in a cow in a field. Let's see what it does with that. And the really cool thing about Midjourney as well is you can see your image generating in real time. See, right now it's a bunch of just blurry nonsense, but then as time passes, you can see it fall together into a completed image. And I just think it's super cool. Also, it's interesting to note that as it generates, it tends to throw in details unexpectedly. Like, you'll have an object with a fuzzy background, and then suddenly in the next generation it'll just have a ton of stuff going on, and it won't be like anything you expected. And sometimes that's really good, other times it ruins an otherwise good image. So it's a little bit of a toss-up. But as you can see now, we have our cow in a field. He's doing very well, and I am quite proud of him. I think this third one is the best out of the bunch. These others seem a little confused, especially this guy. I don't know where the back and the front is of this one, and it's sort of creeping me out the more I look at it. But we have a field, and we have a cow, and that is what we asked for. So it's progress. We're gonna try to make something cool. Let's do solitary hero standing on a cliff. All right, that should look pretty heroic. Let's give it a shot. Let's see what the bot thinks. Now, some of these actually look pretty good. For instance, I'm really a fan of this one right here. It's sort of abstract. You can't really see the little man too well, but I'm going to upscale this one because I like it. Now, the way you upscale these things is you just see U1, U2, U3, U4. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And the way we upscale is just clicking U3 for this one. And let's let that generate. And here he is. He's been upscaled. A little sad, actually. I think our little man was turned into more of a plant or a rock formation of some sort, but it's there, kind of. It's a little bit of what I asked for, but let me show you what happens when we are specific with what we want from the AI. So let's do the same type of thing where we type in /imagine a solitary hero standing on a cliff. Close up, cyberpunk, sci-fi, volumetric lighting, 4K, Unreal Engine. There we go. That's how you spell engine. Realistic. And then let's add some other details to our character. Dressed in a red jacket holding a futuristic weapon. All right, let's see how that goes. Now, this might not be good because the computer could be confused, but it will at least be more specific. Okay, so here are our generations. Now again, like I said, sometimes the AI will not always incorporate what you want. However, a couple of these are actually pretty good. For instance, we've got our hero here. We've got sort of this cyberpunk aesthetic. We've got a little city in the back. We've got glowy technology here. We've got the red jacket with all of them. It's a close-up mostly. So yeah, there are definite results when you give attention to detail. Let's see if we can make this a little bit better. I'm going to try to brush it up a little bit, see if I can make a finished product. I will cut to that so you guys don't have to sit there for the whole thing. But also, before I do that, I just wanted to mention variations, because if you like a certain image here, let's say I like here, number 3. You can do V3 to make variations of the third image, and it works like that, you know, V1, V2, V3, V4. Just so you know. And here we have variations of that image. As you can see, it's these four different pictures, but they are all the same type of vibe and style as this one was. Pretty cool. Anyway, let's cut to the interesting. All right, so it's 25 to 30 minutes later. I've succeeded in making this, which I think is pretty cool, honestly. You know, we got a city in the background, man sort of levitating, doing his thing. I like it. The prompt I put in was a cyberpunk man standing on a cliff, circuitry, close-up, weaponry, futuristic, flowing coat, boots, city in background, rule of thirds, animated, Akira, neon, colorful, aesthetic, cool. So, all this goes to show is being specific gives you results. This is not the best thing I've made by far, but it's a nice example. If you want something cool that I'm proud of that I made this brain on your screen right now. That's sort of the thing that I am most excited that I've done. I made it my profile picture. But yeah, that's a little bit of what Midjourney can do. So let's get a little bit into my stance on this debate, and let's wrap things up. So, from what we have seen with the art programs put before us, Midjourney especially, do I think that artificial intelligence is on its way to taking over the art world and replacing actual human creatives? No. At least not in the way it's going right now. Like I said, it took me 25 to 30 minutes to put in the prompt that got me what I showed you, and even that wasn't great looking. So to say that it's going to replace human artists at any point in the near future is a big stretch. Now again, people have generated some pretty crazy things, and I still think that the brain I made is really cool, so you know, there's that. But I think the most practical application for programs like this is in a corporate or conceptual sense. Like if a business is trying to design a product and they want to have an artwork of the product to demonstrate to others, like shareholders and stuff like that, they could generate a concept image, something that's approximated along the lines of what they want it to look like, but then of course they would probably hire a professional human artist to flesh out the design and make it detailed and intricate and however they need it to be. That's more what I think it's going to be. This is a good jumping place, you know, it's a good place for you to design concepts and build up an idea of a thing you want your drawing to be or what you want your finished product to be, and then from there you can have people who actually can fill in details properly do their work. And I think it's the same thing for artists, really. Like if you're an artist and you are suffering from art block and you need some sort of inspiration, you can just type in a bunch of prompts and it'll give you a bunch of concepts, a bunch of things that could look cool, but they have all of these flaws with them and things aren't exactly centered correctly, and you as an artist can fix that, or you can make it in your style, or you can do any number of things you want with the prompt that this AI has given you. I think artificial intelligence is going to help people to be more creative rather than eliminating the need for creativity. Now, I could be wrong. So again, bottom line, no, I don't think this is going to replace actual physical humans anytime soon, but it's definitely cool to poke around and take a look at and imagine what the future could be. And now we have arrived at the end of the video. I don't even know where to begin in how to edit this. It is 1:25 a.m., so it's been about a couple hours. Hopefully that was somewhat entertaining or informative for you. Hopefully you gained a little bit out of it. All of this is my opinion. It's just speculation. I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I think these are cool things to have conversations about and for people to show one another, because the only way we can learn about the world around us is if we explore these weird little things. So thank you for coming on this journey with me. But anyway, I'm going to get to bed because I have class very early tomorrow and I'm not going to be prepared for it no matter what I do. So I will be taking my leave now. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe if you want to, but you know, whatever. And I will see you all next time. Thanks again.